Hello, readers. So today's mini lesson will be short, but I will explain to you the main teaching point. As you are reading longer and longer books, we need to make sure that our books don't get lost in our mind. We want to keep them and we want to preserve them in our memory. So because we don't always have enough space in our brain to keep all the details in our books, readers, they use post-it notes to help them record the main events or the major problems in the book. So again, the teaching point for today is that readers can use post-it notes or a notebook to keep track of the major events or major problems and how they got solved. So for example, you remember the book. I'm going to use a book that you all know, or majority of you know, who was at our Read Aloud, about Happy Like Soccer. So when I'm reading this book, and you remember we read this book together, so you know what I'm talking about. I don't have to read the whole book with you now in this video. I want to keep the video short. When I'm reading this book, I might not remember each detail. So a detail is a tiny little thing, like for example, that makes a story look beautiful, right? For example, my shoes have flames and my ball spins on the spread out sea of grass with no weeds. Like this is a lot of beautiful details. When we read, we enjoy and we see a picture in our mind, but you might not necessarily remember everything, right? You're not gonna remember that there were shoes with flames on them, right? And balls with spins. But what you will remember is that there is a major problem in the story. So what was a major problem, if you remember? I know you remember, but I'm going to write it down for you, and I'm going to show you how you will do it with your books. Take a post-it note, and you can write. The main character, we never found out her name, right? But it was a girl. So we can write the girl, that was our main character. We don't know her name, but we know she had an auntie. The girl was sad. That was the main problem, right? Was sad. I'm writing it down. The girl was sad. Because why? You remember, guys? Because the auntie could not come to her soccer game. All right, so that's my major problem. I'm not going to write down how her shoes looked, right, with the flames, but I do have to write down the major event or major problem. So this is my problem in the story. And I wrote it down, and I'm going to keep the post-it notes so I remember the main things that happen in the book. So right here, I'm writing down where she's hugging her auntie, that she's sad because the auntie cannot come to her soccer game. Now, some other major things in this book, right? I need to write them down as well. I need to write down that one time when there was a big final game and they were supposed to, remember, to come, the auntie took a day off from work and it started to rain and they weren't able. And even when the auntie took a day off from work and she won't be able to do it again, they couldn't do it. So I'm going to write down, there was a major event, something that was really important to the storyline. So I'm going to write down that too. I'm going to say, so the auntie is trying, it's so loud outside of my window. So as I was saying, sometimes when readers read, they have to reconcentrate when something loud happens. As I was saying, that the auntie tried to solve the problem, right? By taking a day off from work. So I'm going to write it down. Auntie took a day off from work to come see the soccer game. But it started to rain. Uh-oh. So now you see that that's another major event. The auntie tried to solve the problem, but did the problem get solved? Not yet. Now I keep reading my book. There is a lot of beautiful details. Like for example, at home we play cards and eat cherry cake. and look at old pictures. My auntie pulls out the funny ones to make me feel better. And I would, except I'm thinking hard and I still feel sad. Are those details or major events? Think about it. Are those little beautiful details to imagine a picture? Or are these the things that drive the storyline? That are the problems, solutions, main events? Those are details, right? It's not like the most important thing. The book is not about a cherry cake or them hugging and looking at pictures. That's not the main point. It's just a little detail to show you so you can see a picture in your mind. And details are important, but we might not remember all the details. But we do need to write down the more major events. So I'm not going to write about cherry cake. I'm going to keep reading. And as you know, I'm not going to read the whole book, but at the end of the book, what happens? When they're sleeping, how does the problem get solved? I know you remember we read this book together. The girl calls the coach and she says, Auntie cannot take a day off no more, but could you move the game to Monday, the day that's already off for Auntie, right? So that's how the problem gets solved. So I'm going to take the post-it notes and write that down. All right, so now you learn the strategy, readers, and when the books get longer and the storyline gets more complex means more problems going on, or maybe one problem is almost solved, but no, it didn't work, it failed again. So you are going to use post-it notes to help you. Write it down and to remember the major events. So we're not writing down the details, right? But what are we doing? Readers, they write down the major events or the main ideas or the big conflicts and solutions, big problems and solutions from their books. That's how they remember the long, long books. All right, readers, I will see you in the next lesson. Bye-bye.
Hello.